Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. My name is Katie, and I am a fourth year first grade teacher, and I'm so glad you're here for this week's vlog. Today is the first time I have attempted to vlog during the school year. I'm going to be totally honest, the beginning of the year was really rocky for me, adjusting to a new school, new kids, new area, and I just didn't feel comfortable devoting time and energy into vlogging when I needed to be pouring all of my time and energy into my students in my classroom. And then when I wasn't in my classroom, I was focused on spending time with my husband and doing some self-care and relaxing. So I just haven't been able to vlog lately, but thank you guys so much for subscribing and for everybody who's been there and who has commented on other videos and wished me luck at the beginning of the year. Things are starting to settle, and so I'm going to try to do a little bit of vlogging here and there. I'm just gonna start with a week in my life because it's a little bit lower stress, and we'll just kind of ease it back in as we go, because I'd love to share part of my journey with you guys, but I also know that my students and my family come first. So we will see what we get out of the vlog this week. First attempt, new school, week in my life. Here we go. There are a couple things that I need to set up. As you probably saw, I came in with these huge bags. Let me pull those over here. So this huge bag of stuff that I'll have to unpack. Most of it I'll unpack at the end of the day, so I'll show you what I brought from my classroom, but some things I do have to set up now. Like I got some paper from Michael's this weekend, and I need to get ready and put my centers and my little center magnets up in the front of my room, because last week, well, I guess like the first 3 weeks of school, we've just been doing the word work center, and today we're introducing the writing center. So now I've got to have their numbers in the correct spots so they can look and see which center they're supposed to go to. It's like another layer of our rotations. So I'm gonna go ahead and start turning everything on, getting things set up. It's about 7:12, and I don't pick the kids up till about 8:05, so I have just a little under an hour. I got here early on purpose because I knew I had a lot of things that I had done this weekend that I wanted to put in my room. Alright, so here's my center rotations in a nutshell. Right now I only have 2 centers, writing and word work, and as you saw, I just made those labels this weekend. These are the 2 that I'll add eventually, computer and listening. I put magnets on the back because this strip, it's kind of messy. We've tried to clean it and it didn't work. So I'm just gonna cover it, but it's magnetic. And so when they get to centers, the kids will just find their number and see which center they're at. And then at the end of the day, I don't move any of the kids' magnets. Those always stay the same. I just swap the center. And eventually I'll do that with 4 centers, but since it's the beginning of the year, today is the first day we're introducing it with 2. And I use these magnets from the Dollar Tree. They're just little circle magnets. And then I used my Cricut to put the student numbers on them. And here's what my writing center looks like that we're starting this week. They're just gonna be working on their handwriting because that's our skill and our pacing right now, so I put all their work here. I have fun pencils with little squishies on them if they want to use them, or they can use their own. I don't know if this garland's gonna stay because I hung it on Friday, and when I came in it had fallen down, so I just lightly stuck the command strips back up, but those command hooks are just not sticking, so I'm gonna have to figure out what I can put on this wall. And then I always make an extra copy of all the center labels, and I label the actual center with the same label. So I'm gonna put this right here so that that corresponds with what is over there in the front of the room. So that's our little writing center that we are starting this week. All right, now I'm gonna get their word work center ready. We already did these at the small group table, so I'm gonna take my short A words and put those in a bag for their word work center since we're still working on short vowels. And then I have this, I think it was a freebie on TPT. It's got each short vowel on an ice cream cone and then a picture. Let's see if I can shake it so you can see a picture. Okay, you can barely see it. There you go, like a bat. So they would stack bat on the short A, ice cream cone. So those will be my 2 activities that I put in the bucket down there for word work. This morning before I came to school, I went ahead and printed my September plans. So now in my planner, right past the calendar, here are my plan book plans that I made online. So those are all printed and ready to go, and I will keep those on my table over here so I can reference them as needed. So that's about all I have to do today. That's why I came in so early, because I had a lot of things that I wanted to set up and make sure we're ready to go. But I will probably check in with you guys later today or at the end of the day. I'm gonna be looking a hot mess because I have afternoon duty this week and it's gonna be hot. Here's my lovely safety vest over here, so you'll probably catch me rocking that in the afternoon. And we also have a data meeting every Monday. So we have data meetings on Mondays that last till about 4:30-ish. So I'll jump in sometime this afternoon, update you on how the day is going, and yeah. Y'all, it has been a Monday, and this teacher is ready to go home, finish duty, finish our afternoon meeting, and now check out my to-do list. Like, so long. I've got to do next week's copies, or like put together what I want to be copied for next week. I have math tests to grade, bookmarks to laminate, math spinners to create, centers for next week. It's like a never-ending list right here, and I'm tired and I'm ready to go home, but that's okay. So I finished everything that I think I can do here at school, and the rest I can like just go home and sit on my couch and do and print and laminate and stuff like that. Yeah, Mondays are hard. I have to get back into the routine. The kids have to get back into the routine. We were forgetting routines, so yeah, Mondays are just hard. So I'm gonna head home and get some stuff done. I'm also realizing I never unpacked this bag that I said I was going to go through, so that'll just have to be a tomorrow or a Wednesday thing. Good morning. It is Tuesday. It is so dark that I just had to turn a light on in my car so you could see me. It's really early because Tuesdays I have morning duty, but our Chick-fil-A has also been doing like Teacher Tuesday giveaways, and this is the last one because the month of August is almost over, and today it's free chicken minis. So of course I'm getting up just a little earlier so I can get chicken minis before I have morning duty today to start off my day. All right, we're in the classroom, and now I have about 45 minutes until it's time for me to go to morning duty, so I'm gonna spend some time enjoying my Chick-fil-A. Chicken minis are my favorite for Chick-fil-A breakfast, and of course I got a vanilla iced coffee because I've started liking these from Chick-fil-A as well. So I'm very grateful that my Chick-fil-A has been doing those Teacher Tuesdays. It's actually saved my month of August for real. We've gone almost every Tuesday to get the free item either in the morning, or David and I have been for dinner in the evening. So I'm going to eat my breakfast, and then I have tons of copies and things that I need to put in to be copied that I printed last night at home, things that I laminated, all of that. So I'm gonna kind of distribute that and put it where it needs to go, and then it will be about time for morning duty. All right, so here's kind of the mess. I made a bunch of spinners because we're starting 2D shapes. So I made a bunch of spinner templates for some games later this week last night. These are all the things I need to go put in to be copied for next week. These are the things I would like to be laminated for, I think like 2 weeks from now. I don't think that's a next week thing. I think that's 2 weeks. And then I printed all the tangram mats or pattern block mats, whatever you want to call them, for this week, and then these were just extra copies that I had at home that I needed to bring to school. I've got to cut out my math journal problems and put those out, and then I have over here the math tests that I graded, and so I'm going to put those in this middle drawer, which is where I've been putting assignments that I need to put in the grade book until I know how to do that. So that's kind of what the room looks like. I'm going to get all those things done and then start the day. This is why I did not straighten my hair this morning. I have already been outside like 4 times, and it is hot and sticky and humid, and I walked all the way down to the copy room and forgot to take my paper that I keep on the shelf over here, because that's new to me, taking paper. Usually they just would copy it, and they had paper in the copy room at my other school, so now remembering to take my paper is going to take some practice. But this is already like frizzy and humid, so when I woke up and it didn't look too crazy, I was like, you know what? We're just going to go with this and not even touch it with a straightener, because what's the point? Yeah, but I think I got most of my things done. You can tell my table is like cleared off, which is good. And I've got about 10 minutes until I go to morning duty. Morning duty is just we go to the first grade playground. So when the kids are done with breakfast, they go to the playground, and not a lot of them finish on time to come play. It's probably like 20 kids or so. And then we bring them up to the classroom all together at around 8:05, 8:10ish to start the day. So it's not too hard. I just kind of stand and watch them. So after morning duty, we'll come in, they'll do their math journals in the morning, and then we do like our Brain Smart Start, which is our conscious discipline kind of version of morning meeting, where we connect with each other, we unite, we disengage our stress with some breathing, and then I also add in our calendar time over here with that as well. And then after all of that, we go right into our reading rotations, which I usually don't do first. I used to do whole group first, but just the way the schedule's laid out, that's the biggest chunk of time I have, because rotations take about an hour, because I like to meet with every group, especially in first grade. Maybe like towards the end of the year I won't have to, but they just all need that explicit phonics. Even the high kids do, because all of this phonics stuff is new. Of course I differentiate for the groups, but I do see every group every day, so it takes about an hour. So I do that first, which is kind of nice though, because then it's like, like I don't have to have I do have my teacher brain turned on, but just at my table. I don't have to have like my whole group teacher brain turned on until after they come back from special area, which is kind of nice. So my morning chunk is like pretty manageable, which is fantastic. So we're gonna make it through the day. I'll check in with you guys at the end, let you know how it went, tell you if we did anything extraordinary today, and then hopefully unpack that bag. All right, friends, this is where we are today. I finished duty, and now I have to get some things done on my to-do list. Another long list of things to do. It's just like I never have time to get things done during the day right now. I'm just not in the groove yet, so we're working on that. But I'm going to go ahead and change my calendar, because that is something that I can do. I did make my shape buckets for tomorrow during my planning. So yay, I did do one thing. So I'll show those to you tomorrow to show you our shape centers. Then I need to start making student data sheets and grade papers. So I'm gonna get started. Okay, I finished all of the things that I could on my to-do list. Some of it I could not finish because of this lovely unit right here. It says it's jammed, and I've opened every door and cannot find a jam. So I'm just gonna have to put in like an email to our tech guy and say, come check my printer, it's not jammed. It does this anytime I try to print something double-sided, which is so frustrating, because double-sided is great, it conserves paper, but not when your printer jams. So that means most of these things at the bottom, like printing papers for writing center, dot paper, and printing out some pattern block things, are gonna have to be done at home on my printer at home, since I can't do that here. So, and as you can tell, I have a knack for wearing my safety vest. I just forget to take it off. So I need to take this off, because duty was over a long time ago, and then I'm gonna head home so I can do all these things on my to-do list at home. So, happy Tuesday, everybody. And once again, this lovely bag on the floor will remain full until tomorrow. Okay, y'all, I got in my car and realized I forgot to tell you something about the day. Today, I had my very first ever indoor recess. first ever. My old school didn't have recess. This one does. And for some reason, it's kind of surprising because we live in Florida and it rains every afternoon, but it's never rained during recess time. Well, today, when we went to lunch, it was raining, so I knew it was going to be indoor recess. So while they were at lunch, I whipped up some indoor recess rules because I was like, we got to have some rules and some structure here, you know, like walking feet, inside voices, share, all of those things. And then I just did 4 different stations. So I put a movie on the board, was one station. I pulled out all my poppers, little poppet things. They told me they're called poppets, not poppers. So I put poppets out for a station, I did free draw for a station, and then I let them get on PBS Kids on their computers for a station. They could pick one. When they were finished, they could put it away and use walking feet to pick a different one. So I didn't like keep them in one spot the whole time because it was recess. So I was trying to give them a little options. And it went well. I was shocked. We did pretty good. Yeah, I was really glad because I was like, oh gosh, I better set it straight right now. And I'm hoping later in the year to pull out some of our games like Connect 4 and some Legos and some more interactive things. But I don't think we can handle that right now. And that's okay. So we still did centers and did fun things that were a little bit easier to manage for our first ever indoor recess. So yeah, just thought I'd share that win because that was a big thing for today. Good morning, happy Wednesday. I'm here a little bit later this morning. It's around 7:30, so still before contract hours. But Monday I just had so much to set up, and yesterday I had morning duty, so today I was like, let's get the extra little bit of sleep and start coming in at a more reasonable time that's not so stinking early every morning. So I'm trying that out today and probably for the rest of this week. We'll see how it goes. So I'm putting away a couple of copies that I made last night that I printed and just getting the room ready for the morning. Interesting things we have today. We're going to the library, so I got this bag I'm pretty excited about to carry their books because they go to the library like basically right after specials, and then right after library we go to lunch. And so it takes too long to come back to the classroom to get books and then go to the library, or to leave the library and come bring our books here and then go to lunch, because then we're late everywhere we go. So I got this wonderful bag yesterday from Hobby Lobby in the afternoon, and it was on sale, so I was excited about that. And I'm gonna put their books in here. It's gonna be like our book bag. Eventually I'll make it look cute and put book bag on it. And I might make it a class job for somebody to carry our book bag. But that way we can carry our books to the library. And then when we're through, like once they've checked out new books, we can put them in the book bag. And I made, let me show you what I made. Here it is without showing the student name. You can tell that they colored on them. But I laminated some bookmarks that have their name like really big in that spot that I'm covering. And they are going to take their bookmarks and put them into their library book. That way I can tell whose library book is whose. So when we come back in the afternoon, I'll take the books out of the book bag and I can look at the bookmark and see whose book it belongs to. So we're gonna see, or like who the book belongs to. We're gonna see if that routine or like procedure works. This is only our second week going to the library, so it's a perfect time to introduce it and go ahead and get something in place to make that manageable. So we'll see how that goes. I will jump in the afternoon, update you on the book bag, and I'll also show you the math stations that I prepped yesterday this afternoon. It's only 7:40 and I've already killed a giant spider this morning. Yay! I feel like that's an accomplishment. Hello everyone. It is the end of Wednesday and I did not pick up my camera and do anything in my classroom with it this afternoon because it was just the day of all days. We had all kinds of things going on. I just had a meltdown after school, cried my eyes out on the way home. One of those evenings, one of those days, afternoons. You know, the morning was great. Our rotations went great, all of that. And the afternoon just snowballed. We didn't even get to do the math activities that I was going to show you this afternoon because my we just weren't listening to directions, and if we're not following directions, I can't do fun games. So we did the workbook lesson from the math book instead of adding the fun stations, and I was bummed because I wanted to do the stations. So I'm hoping, I told them that we can try again for the stations tomorrow. So I will show you the stations tomorrow morning, whether we get them tomorrow or not. But I just needed to, I had afternoon duty, it was hot, I had a meeting after school, and I just needed to get out of there and get in my car and just, and then be done, you know? Okay, so then I went home, I changed clothes, I work on, now I don't even know how to English, I'm so tired. I worked on some slides for next week for our reading whole group. We're starting blends next week. This is our last week on short vowels. So I made the next 2 weeks of whole group slides. And then I got in the car and I'm at good old Chick-fil-A, and I'm getting a wrap and I'm getting a milkshake because that's just what I need right now. I need some Chick-fil-A. It's good for the soul. I'm gonna take it home and I'm gonna watch TV and maybe print like one thing that I need to be printed, and that's it for the night. I'm calling it a night, and we're gonna hope for a better Thursday tomorrow. Good morning, happy Thursday. I feel like you can tell it's Thursday by my back cart looking like this. That needs to be on the list to organize. It has just gotten progressively messier as the week has gone on. So it is 7:26 today. I've already turned all the things on in my room. I'm gonna get math journals set up, and then I'm gonna show you guys the math centers that I have planned, and I'm really hoping that today's gonna be a better day and we'll get to do those math centers and that we'll listen a little better, and yeah, I'm really hopeful for that. And I'll go ahead and show you what's in this bag because I'm tired of it being under my desk. Okay, so there's a few things in here that were donated from my Amazon wish list. So I want to send a huge thank you, and I posted a thank you on my Instagram, but thank you so much if you donate anything from my classroom wish list. It is always appreciated. I'm sorry it sat in a bag under my desk this week. That's just teacher life, but I'm pulling them out and I'm ready to use them. So here are the things that I got from Amazon. The first one was this pack of sight word reader books, which I'm really excited about. I think these will be great for my friends who are practicing sight words because we still have some first graders that are working on those beginning kindergarten words. So this is gonna be a great resource for them. And then the other thing from my Amazon wish list are some sight word cards, some basic sight word cards. It looks like they are Dolch and Fry words, and they have sentences at the back, which is great for them to practice them in context. So I'm gonna have to open these up and see if they're sorted out. I don't know if they're color coded or anything by like, you know, pre-primer, primer, first grade, all of that, but I'll just pull it out and see. If not, I'll sort them out so we can start using these to review our pre-primer and primer before we hit our first grade words. And then the last things in the bag I just bought or made and brought in here. Command strips. I had to hang something above my desk. These stay on the wall, and I use them to reinforce my writing center, that little banner that had fallen on Monday. These are the ones, the Velcro ones like this, these stay. I also got some twinkle lights from Walmart, impulse buy. They're really cute. I haven't hung them up yet. I kind of hope I can put them above my smart board. I just haven't, you know, we haven't made it that far this week, but the twinkle lights are here. Maybe I'll put them up tomorrow for next week. And then the last thing that's in the bag, these are for my classroom library way in the future because I don't think we're gonna be able to handle pulling our own books out of the classroom library for a while. Yeah, just for a while. So I think we'll stick with the ones that Miss Allen puts out on the shelf because those aren't even making it back where they're supposed to make it right now. But eventually, when we are able to take books out of the classroom library, I got some painter's sticks that they could use as like place markers to hopefully help them a little bit more too. So when they're looking for a book, they can put their painter stick in just like you would in a library with a placeholder. And then I just painted them all fun with rainbows and stripes and, you know, like the spots, and made them cutesy so they could remember which spot was theirs. So that's those right there. I don't know when we'll use them. I'm just gonna put them over by the library for now. And then the bag is empty and not under my desk. And here are the math stations that I hope we get to today. The first one is dot paper. We're working on triangles first, so we're gonna practice making triangles by circling 3 dots to show the 3 vertices and then drawing our 3 sides. I did this in our old math curriculum, and it was a great way for them to practice making all different kinds of triangles. Then this is from our current math curriculum. I took out the pages from their workbook and laminated them so we could just save the resource for later. But it's a rocket ship game, rocket shape, and they spin, then they get to place a shape on their rocket ship, and the first one to cover the whole rocket wins. And I made these little spinners, which I'm pretty excited for, that have all of the shapes on them. And then I got these from my Amazon wish list. Somebody donated these for me as well. And you just place the spinner on there and then spin. So that's gonna take some teaching today. My hand's in the way. It's hard to do one-handed. But then they can spin their shape that way. So that's gonna be really fun when we get to it. And then I have some buckets that have some animal pattern block maps that I got for freebies online with the pattern block shapes. So those are our 3 stations that we'll do in rotations for math. You guys, my printer just fixed itself. I turned it off the other day when I was telling you about it. I guess that was Tuesday, and just have left it off. And I just turned it on today just to see, and it spit out this page, perfectly printed, you know, and the jam is gone. What in the world? All I had to do was turn it off for 24 hours. Hello, friends. Today was a much better day. I still don't know if I would call it a good day, but it was a much better day. We assigned spots. There's our little, let's see if you can see them right there. I love to use sit spots, and I prefer when the students get to choose their spot, but yesterday we just weren't sitting on them correctly. We were poking, we were touching, and I told them, I was like, we've lost that chance. I told them at the beginning when I introduced them, I was like, okay, I like to let you choose your spot, and as long as we're keeping it safe, you will get to choose where you sit. Well, it had been a couple days coming where we just hadn't gotten it together, and so yesterday I was like, all right, we're not going to choose our spots. I will have them assigned in the morning. So I went home and I thought about it in my conscious discipline lens, which I'm working on. Working on it because that's what my new school uses. And one thing that they feel strongly about is incorporating choice in discipline, if that makes sense. And by taking away their choice and spot, I was kind of like, oh, should I take away the choices? But I said I was going to do it yesterday, and so I needed to honor my word. But I did phrase it as, I would love for you to earn that choice back. It's a choice that I think is a really fun one, but you have to show me that you can earn that choice, because I had given them the choice and they were taking advantage of it and playing on the carpet. So I feel like that was a good solution. They did better today sitting in their assigned spots. So we're gonna keep these, like, it'll be a while. We'll keep them for a while and just see how it goes, and then hopefully they'll be able to choose their spots again. I don't know. Anyways, so it was better, and I don't know if it's because I assigned their spots or what. I don't know. It was just a better day, and we have virtual open house tonight. I just jumped off of a Zoom professional development thing, and I've been working on grades, and it's been really busy. So I have a couple things left on my checklist. I'm trying to get as much done as I can tonight prior to open house. That way, over the holiday weekend, I don't have to do anything, or like I have to do minimal amounts, and anything I do is just to get ahead of the game. So that's the goal. Peacing out. Tomorrow's Friday. Happy Friday! I am so excited. We are almost to a long weekend. I stopped by Dunkin' today to get myself a pumpkin cream cold brew, and I have this wonderful little drink floaty. How cute is that? To keep it from sweating on my table. And that is from Samantha at the Cool Calm Classroom on Instagram. She gave it to me from my wish list with the sweetest note saying, sorry your year's off to a rough start. Hopefully this brings you some sparkle and joy. And sparkle and joy it is this morning. It's perfect to hold my coffee, and it's just gonna make me smile smile every time I see it on this exciting Friday. So, not too much going on. I'm gonna get the room ready for my kiddos to come in. Only things we have that are like new today is I'm gonna try to do a nonsense word assessment for CVC words. So I'm excited to kind of see what the data looks like from that assessment. And then I'm also gonna try to introduce writing workshop, just like reading a story and introducing writing and thinking of an idea, drawing a sketch, and then writing like a sentence or two to describe it. Because on Tuesday next week, I want to start our writing center being a little more independent, not like a handwriting worksheet, but a chance for them to actually do some writing. And our theme for reading is all about school. So we're gonna try to do like a writing about school, about their school day. I'm gonna put up some school vocabulary and let them be a little independent in it and get to write and draw what they'd like. So I'm gonna introduce that today. That way next week I'll just review it and like model an example with school vocabulary, and then they should be good to go. Of course, it's gonna take some time. We're beginning writers in first grade and we're just starting this center out, just starting writing workshops. So that's okay, we're just gonna get them rolling with it. But that's about it. Friday cheers, y'all. We've made it, and I will check in with you guys later. We made it to the end of the day. Yesterday I said it was better but not good. Today was better but closer to the good side. We did a lot of things. We finished the assessments. I did the CVC word ones and graded them, and it was very telling. And then I went through and redid all of my center groups, which kind of stinks because we just got into the routine of doing our rotations in our groups, and on Tuesday I'm going to change the groups up. So it's going to change their rotation and kind of blow our minds, but it's important for me to have those groups like really leveled so I can do what I need to do for those kiddos. So I switched that up, which meant that I had to change my rotation slides and change my center magnets that I did on Monday to make sure that there weren't too many kids at each center, yada yada. So I did all that. We did our dictation test, and that went well. And I finished my shape assessment, so I did all kinds of assessment today. We even started writing workshop, and they did so good for writing workshop. We just did a picture, a sketch. We learned the word sketch, and then we labeled our picture, and then we wrote one sentence to go with it at the bottom. And it was really, again, really telling, and I feel like I'm like, okay, I can see what these kids know. You know, it's only like the third week of school, so I'm a little behind on that. But we've been doing handwriting and stuff like that, so I can really tell, like, where my kids are at now, and I'm feeling very solid about that for the first time this year, which is great. All in all, it was a great day. I have a couple things on my to-do list that are left. I've already graded, sorted papers, entered grades. Really the big thing left on my to-do list is to put all of my plans into Plan Book. And I plan, how many times can I say plan in one sentence? I plan on doing that at home because I can go home and sit on the couch and do that easily, and I don't have to do that in, I was about to say mi casa. This is mi casa in mi classroom. Mi clase, isn't that what it is? Okay, anyways, we made it. We made it, friends, and I'm so excited. Holiday weekend, I'm gonna rest. It's gonna be great. But thank you guys so much for tuning in for this first week in my life. I would like to know, I don't usually do week in my life. I typically film day in my life in the past, but this was a lot lower stress for me to do week in my life because then I didn't feel like I had to capture every single thing in my day because that just stresses me out to film. So let me know in the comments below if you enjoyed this week in your life or week in my life format, because I would love to hear feedback on that. Make sure you like and subscribe. Give this video a thumbs up, and I'm hoping to post and film some more vlogs for you guys soon. And that is all I have. A week in first grade. And I will catch you guys in the next one.